when you want to say something, there's no time like the present. That could be any time of day or night. In this instance, the reason I'm making the vlog is something that my longtime friend Phil Tagami wrote on his birthday on Facebook, and I'll show it to you. It's right here. He writes, I think all Oaklanders have the right, if not the obligation, to speak their truth to their local elected officials. I think it's constructive that, try to get this in focus here. I think it's constructive that they do so respectfully. We can have our disagreements and our different approaches. We do not need to disparage if someone has a different review or approach. With that being said, immediate action is needed to be taken by the mayor and her administration to transparently share how many citations the city of Oakland has issued to individuals who have engaged in vandalism and graffiti in the last calendar year. That information should be cast against the number of property owners that have been cited for graffiti on their buildings and the total dollar amount that the city has collected from those property owners in the last calendar year. Isn't it time that those who invest in our community to increase the tax base and to provide services and jobs, I add, get a modicum of respect and service on something so basic? And then he goes on to write, with that said, I could go on, I could go on to start a conversation regarding illegal dumping, sideshows, commercial burglary, return to work policy, and a litany of other items that don't seem to be discussed by the media or any of the business advocacy organizations in all fairness. There are many challenges facing every city, and having had the opportunity to work outside of the city of Oakland for the last several years, reflect on the excuses used to allow Oakland to continue to talk about its problems but not solve them. And I just wanted to add something there in response to what Phil put out. And I think, first of all, I should make absolutely certain I take what I'm saying and tag it. Yeah, it's three something in the morning. But I couldn't get this off my mind. Um, First of all, I think it has to be brought up that, well, first of all, Oakland has a lot of people in it who I find don't understand urban economics. They don't understand the need for businesses, private businesses, to be open. I'm proud to say that one of the people who does understand is, and some of you may find this a surprise coming out of my mouth, Oakland Councilmember Carol Fife. And Carol's really come a long way in her understanding of how, not so much how things work, but basically how people like myself feel about them, and that our point of view isn't meant to put anybody else down. It's just simply to fix the city. But also, as I've told Carol now several times, the kind of America she wants to achieve in Oakland can be done with our current laws. And what she wants to achieve is an Oakland that has low rents, that has a high quality of life, that has high safety. And folks, I think that's what everybody else wants. Okay. Um, but what's happened is that if you look back through Oakland's history, and you lived in Oakland, you know what I'm talking about when I say this. We've been impacted by uh, a changing regional position. You know, it started out for me when we moved to Oakland in 1974, where Oakland was this city that was considered to be chocolate city, you know, black city. And you went to San Francisco to do nice things, to get out, right? There wasn't much going on. Um, I do remember Terrence Condell. One of the viewers asked me, says, "Do you remember Terrence Condell?" I sure do. Is he still with us? I hope so. Terrence Condell ran for mayor in 2010. But at any rate, um, Oakland went from being a chocolate city to now a city where its population is less than 20% black. And during that trajectory, initially in the 60s, 70s, and the 80s, there were a number of people, including myself, okay? Um, there were a number of people, including myself, who believed that Oakland um, should go after San Francisco for the mantle of big city. Uh, Oakland has a little more land area than San Francisco, although San Francisco historically has had double the population, roughly, or a little bit more than that. Uh, San Francisco is an exceptionally dense city, surrounded on three sides by water. Oakland has water on one side, and so, but Oakland had something that San Francisco didn't have. Not one, not two, but three sports teams. Okay, three: the Raiders, the A's, and the Warriors. Now Oakland has no professional sports teams. Okay, and I mean major professional sports teams. I'm not talking about the Roots or the Oakland Soul. I'm talking about professional sports teams. The A's, the Raiders, and the Warriors are gone. The A's are in Sacramento and they're Las Vegas bound, building a what will be a state of the art ballpark. And the Raiders, as you know, are playing in the state of the art Allegiant Stadium again in Las Vegas. The Warriors are in San Francisco because the now late San Francisco Mayor Ed Lee made an objective of getting the Warriors out of San Francisco into Oakland, and Oakland did nothing to stop the Warriors. No court challenge on its own. There were court challenges. I was involved in one against the Warriors. Okay. Unfortunately, we lost. It had to do with the intent of land use in Mission Bay and whether or not a Warriors arena fit that intent based on the historic development of the master plan. Garrett Wong basically ruled in favor of the defendants who said, well, this really, if you take a look at the wording, it does fit. I'm just simplifying what was a complicated argument, so much so that Judge Wong went to sleep during the case. I'm not kidding you, during the hearing. And he was the man deciding. He was like this. I'm saying, Garrett, wake up, man. What are you doing? I'm not kidding you. Um, anyway, um, I remember when I was on Clarion Columnist, I had this conversation with publisher Warren Chip Brown, Oil Golden Bear, Oil Cal grad, about Oakland and the kind of city we wanted Oakland to be. We wanted Oakland to be the Chicago of California, proud of its industrial base, but on top of that, building a healthy, vibrant place where you go to jazz clubs, great eateries, walk here and there safely, park your car, that sort of thing. Okay. There were a number of us, and Warren, Chip Brown, was white. There were a number of us in Oakland, regardless of color, because Oakland doesn't work that way, really, who wanted that kind of Oakland. And to prove it by action, Oaklanders elected Oakland's first black mayor, Lionel Wilson, in 1977. But his wife was white, Dorothy, okay? Nobody cared. Nobody cared. You could find that pair at 51st in Avenue and College Avenue Safeway dancing in the middle of the grocery store at 1 o'clock in the morning because it stayed open late, all right? As I did one day or one night. Uh, just wonderful people. There are people like Dick Steve Spees, who a Republican, but really, he's kind of a small D Democrat who's a Republican. He built the Chabot Science. He got the Chabot Science Center built. So you go there. That's tribute to now 96-year-old Dick Spees. And I can go on and on and on. We've had, of course, about our conflicts, about colorful criminals and that sort of thing. But in my way of looking at Oakland, Oakland's history should not be painted that way. Like, oh, colorful criminals. No. Oakland's history should be thought of as one of intense, powerful, legal, intelligent civil rights battles waged by a number of people on many fronts of black and white, Asian, Hispanic, Jewish, Gentile, or okay, everything. That's how you think about Oakland. And what's happened though is because Oakland has become very expensive to live in, like much of the Bay Area, a lot of people who made up the soul of Oakland, including musicians, have been forced out. And people who move in have jobs elsewhere. Perhaps they work out of their home. Uh, and a huge number of them came over from San Francisco, particularly during the pandemic when they were losing their jobs. So it's a great population shift that benefited Oakland to a degree, offset only by those who were leaving Oakland because of the pandemic and also crime. Uh, but through it all, Oakland forgot how to do economic development after 2011 because former Oakland mayor and then for the second time California Governor Jerry Brown killed redevelopment law, which allowed Oakland to use the tax increment financing. And Oakland used it for many decades to do everything from pay employees' salaries to get rid of crack houses in East Oakland to provide business assistance to businesses so they could stay open, something that Oakland doesn't do today. All right. So without redevelopment, Oakland has fallen. Oakland has really fallen off a cliff. And a number of people who live in Oakland now, they don't understand the need to have large scale businesses building large office centers in Oakland and sports organizations building stadiums of between 70,000 to 90,000 seats for football, and then arenas, you know, 16,000 to 24,000 for basketball, uh, and also for baseball, then for 30,000, having those edifices in Oakland. Oakland has made working with sports organization owners and sports stadium and arena developers a personal matter, um, too personal, meaning we don't have a process. We don't have a sports commission. We don't have a way of quickly evaluating projects and then getting them to a fast track. We haven't made it part of our culture. We act like everyone that wants to be in Oakland should have to pay the piper, and we try to act like as Oakland, like we were San Francisco. We're going to have you pay impact fees and everything else. So what happens when nobody wants to be in your city? Those impact fees become a joke. All right. Libby imposed those as a San Francisco idea. Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf. I disagreed with it then, and now I believe everybody sees that it just simply wasn't a good idea. All right. We have to get back to building business in Oakland. The Oakland Airport, I've said this before and I'll say it again, needs a hotel convention center right in the middle of the terminal, really hugging in part of the terminal complex that allows businesses and tenants like Southwest Airlines to hold special conventions at the airport, drawing people from around the world in Oakland. They can leave if they wish to, or they can dine in new areas that are part of the hotel convention center, or they can go to other parts of Oakland or the Bay Area. All right. But when I mention it, people say, well, it's not safe. It's not safe. They don't even think about how the structure would be designed to keep people there. They don't think about the digital nomads that make it their job to fly all over the place, be at these different events, and they may be, PR consultants, um, safety or security people, cybersecurity, but whatever the case, their job puts them on an airplane that costs them to be someplace else, if they can't work out of their home office on Zoom. So people in Oakland really have to get with it regarding how to build the city's economy. Phil says that we spend a lot of time talking about our problems. Phil, I believe that's the reason we do that is because a lot of people just simply don't understand how cities work. And so they only see as far as their nose in terms of how to resolve a problem. So, for example, you want to fight crime, you hire more police. That's that. As opposed to fighting crime by actually building things. So you have all these cranes going around, which brings all of these security people, which brings all this activity. And then when they're finished, we have more people in these areas in downtown and different business improvement districts and police substations and high technology like robots and drones to keep people safe. But I argue that when you focus on sports and entertainment development with offices and affordable apartments, and you build them all at once within a year or two time frame, so they all open up, you realize a gigantic change in your urban economic picture. All right. Subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube and bookmark zenny report.com. Thanks, everybody.